We wore what we affectionately called dead men's clothes. You know, you went to thrift shops, and you could get old D-mob suits and things, and they cost nothing.
Army and Navy stores. Remember the Army and Navy stores?
All of that stuff. You could get these really cool things, and then you make some money and you go out and spend it all in really stupid suits that you never want to see again.
Absolutely.
I was fascinated to read that Malcolm McLaren had asked you if you were interested in being in the Sex Pistols.
He did, in the streets of Glasgow. I was stopped in the streets of Glasgow by a guy called Bernie Rode, who went on to manage The Clash. And he said, "Can you speak to my friend round the corner?" And which is a very dodgy thing to ask anybody in Glasgow. And I met this bizarre-looking guy, and this is 1976, maybe.
Yeah.
And it was Malcolm McLaren, and he went on to tell me about his association with the New York Dolls and his clothes shop and Vivienne Westwood and all the stuff that he was doing. And he was putting this band together, and was I interested in joining a band? And I thought, he hasn't asked if I'm a musician, so I turned it down. I thought, who would ask a guy to join a band if they don't even know if they can play or not? Yeah, so it was bizarre.
And then you saw them and you realised.
I saw them later, yeah. But weirdly, I ended up joining a band with Glenn Matlock, who was the original bass player in the Sex Pistols, maybe a year or so afterwards. So, yeah, I was destined to do something there.
Where did you learn music? I suppose I'm saying this because, you know, we kind of share a bit of a past year from Glasgow and from Scotland. So how did you become this incredibly prolific musician?
The radio was my education, my musical education, because that's all we had. I was born in a slum tenement in the outskirts of Glasgow, and the radio was our lifeline to the outside world. So back then it was the home programme, the light programme, or whatever it was. And you got everything from Frank Sinatra through to, you know, the early Beatles, whatever, coming out of this little box.
Oh, you had pirate radio as
and we had radio, yeah, of course.
Radio
we had
Caroline.
Caroline and Luxembourg and all of that stuff that you would listen to on a tiny little transistor thing with one earpiece under the sheets at night when you're supposed to be doing your homework. and that was my education. It was great.
So you went from being this massive pop star with fantastic success, with a great band, and then you decided then to go and tour America, but do it all from scratch, on your own, everything. What made you do that, and how difficult was it?
It's a form of madness, I think. I talked to a lot of you know, young musicians at music college and stuff, and I was at a place called LIPA, which is the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, Paul McCartney's music school. And you're asked to go there as a kind of guest, you know, to talk to the kids about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And I'm sitting there telling them my story about getting signed and getting an album deal and all that stuff that you know so much about, and you.
It was a bit of an afterthought.
She wasn't born when I did it.
You weren't born when I did it. And of course, I'm telling them this stuff, and I realise that that world doesn't exist anymore. The idea of getting signed and getting an album deal, and the route has changed completely. So I decided to go off to America and do a tour, a 5-week tour in America, completely on my own. No manager or tour manager or no adult to tell me what to do. You know, so I booked the hotels and the cars and the flights and the you know, all of it. And even dealt with the money at the end of the night, which I'd never done before. I didn't know I got paid for these things.
But you're not doing that on the tour.
I'm not doing it on the tours now. No. I'm back to the comfort of my stuff. So I'm currently on tour doing an album that I made 20 years ago called Breathe. So I'm doing that to the end of the year, and then next year there's one of these an 80s tour going out with Big Country and
Curiosity Killed the Cat.
Curiosity Killed the Cat. Nick Haywood. It's going to be fantastic. Those things are great because they're all about the hits. You're not there to educate an audience. You're there to totally entertain the audience.
And Band Aid, is your involvement with Band Aid kind of done now?
No. Still there. Yeah, the body of trustees that we set up to oversee the initial money, which is the money from the records, is still there. The ones that are still alive, of course, are still there, still overseeing it, still looking at all the you know, the fundings that we've been doing. What was going to be a 6-month project is now 30 years, and it's 30 years this month or next month from Live Aid. So does that make you feel old?
The original T-shirt, the Band Aid T-shirt. Was it 1984? I've still got it at home with the guitar and the thing going up.
Oh, wow.
I should have brought that and got you to sign it. Can we call you Sir Midge? I know the Queen doesn't, but can we call you...
Yeah.